never complain. Coffee black, screen on stain. Alpha ain't luck, it's strange domain. Deeper and deeper, candle to tangle. Price and chaos is a you don't handle. Deeper and deeper, candle to candle. Price and chaos is a battle handle. Deeper and deeper, candle to candle. Price and chaos, it's a battle handle. Novex knows in the fog we march. Trade lines etched like bark on notch. Coming in clutch, ain't a phrase is charged. Miss a clutch, pray while the ticks discharge. Reading these charts like a precision drill. No luck here, just timing and will. Seeing me gaps, still bleeding, chill. Voice on mute, but the numbers kill. Deeper and deeper, candle to candle. Price and chaos, it's a battle handle. Deeper and deeper, candle to candle. Price and chaos, it's a battle handle. Reading these charts like a precision drill. No luck here, just timing and will. Seeing me gaps, still bleed and chill. Force on mute, but the numbers kill. Novex finance, car is still. Reading these charts like a precision drill. No luck here, just timing and will. Seeing me gaps, still bleed and chill. Force on mute, but the numbers kill. Reading these charts like a precision drill. No luck here, just timing and will. Seeing me gaps, still bleed and chill. Force on mute, but the numbers kill. Deeper, heartbeat sync with the trend line. Blood on the chart, there's a deadline. I see fear in their eyes through the headline. They ain't quant, they just scroll timeline. I keep math like ammo, cold precise. Entry points measure, exit twice. Silence the noise, pay the price. One bad click, you sacrifice. Algorithm twitch in the moonlight gleam. Trade talk space ain't just a stream. It's a war room brief with the alpha team. Coming in clutch, we redefine dream. We redefine dream. Redefine dream. Redefine dream. Redefine dream. Redefine dream. Reading these charts like a precision drill. No luck here, just timing and will. Seeing me gaps, still bleeding, chill. Forced on mute, but the numbers kill. Novex wins, precision drill. No luck here, just timing and will. Seeing me gaps, still bleeding, chill. Forced on mute, but the numbers kill. Deeper, deeper. Drill to the chart beats order. Deeper, drill to the chart beats order. Deeper, drill to the chart beats order. Deeper and deeper, candle to candle. Discipline's the weapon. Patience the trigger. Trade talk forever.
They don't understand discipline till they meet clutch. Forest quiet, mind louder than Wall Street moon. Trade talk live, truth no cap. Seeing me gap, we wait no nap. Voice Wi-Fi, but a single exact. Quant so clean, every candle react. He'll tell you the pain, not the drain. Give you the numbers, not the meme. Coming in clutch, that's the team. Portrait the code, mind supreme. Clutch in the woods, laptop blow. Chickens out back, alpha in the snow. He raises what he eats, that's code and crow. Kills them clean, burritos on go. Got a quant mind sharp like a guillotine. Seeing me gap, feel routine. He don't chase green, he measure the mean. Markets bleed, he wipe it clean. Whispers of trades like war drum jams. Whole block watch like his finance dance. If he can't stomach truth, stay off the call. He'll break your delusions one fib at a time, y'all.
Trade talk live, truth no cap. Seeing me gap, we wait no nap. Force Wi-Fi, but the single exact. Quant so clean, every candle a dream. Give you the pain, not the dream. Give you the numbers, not the meme. Coming in clutch, that's the team. Portrait the code, mind supreme.
Yeah. Yeah, I coast, but I rugged raw. Chaos theory, that's cave law. Data in my beard, shadows in my file. Rug your heart just to test your style. Block, don't talk, I just measure decay. Seeing me gap like a debt we pay. Charge don't lie, but the crowd might sway. If clutch calls silence, I obey. In the forest, plotting ticks and traps. Sunset red like liquidation maps. Alpha so deep it come and collapse, but real ones wait, no panic slaps.
Coming in clutch where logic meets life. Where burritos and basis points both cut like knives. Where truth hurts more than the chart itself. But pain just proves that you're playing
Trade Talk Live, truth no cap. CME gap, we wait no nap. Force Rock 5 with a single exact. Quan so clean, every can react. He'll tell you the pain, not the drain. Give you the numbers, not the main. Coming in clutch, that's the team. Hold you to cold, mind supreme. Trade Talk.
Winning close.
Tears down. Push La Fam.
Winning close.
Trade Talk. Trade Talk. Trade Talk. Trade Talk.
Trade Talk Live, truth, no cap. CME gap, we wait, no nap. Forest Wi-Fi, with the signal exact. Quan so clean, every candle react.
He'll tell you the pain, not the dream. Give you the numbers, not the mean. Coming in clutch, that's the team. I'm trying to cold, mind supreme.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Hope you're having a great start to your day. You could be anywhere else, but coming through here just shows that you want to know what the market is going to do. We've been very, very precise. We've been very, very protected. Every time you think the bottom is in, a new low keeps striking. We keep losing 90K. We keep peaking into just lower price ranges. And I must say, if you're paying attention and you're a trade talk enjoyer, you can 100% feel confident that you will be marked safe from any manipulated moves. We keep being on top of these, and it's because we show up every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern, not to mention constant TA day in and day out in our Telegram. If you have not joined, please do so immediately. It's free. You won't have to pay anything other than attention, so you can then surround yourself with people that are real traders, that are action takers, and they look at charts to take action. That's what it really comes down to, just being locked in, baby. We have been in lock-in season for about 3-4 months since the market decided that the top was in. We've been downpouring ever since, but for our crew, we've been playing both sides of the fence, longing when we shouldn't, because everyone only longs when they think they should, or the market is telling you should, and then you get cooked. And of course, we short when everybody else is on this euphoric, blindsided approach to trading where they close their eyes, pick a direction, pick a ticker, and hope that it works out. Unlike those people, we don't roll with those people. But the people I do roll with, some of them are a little ghetto. Some of them will rob your bubble gum and leave you the case because they want you to have something nice to look at. Andrew, I may or may not be talking about someone in particular. I don't know why I went to you first directly after that little Easter egg there, but maybe the crowd can figure out who I was talking about.
The crowd, man, the crowd needs to let me enjoy my coffee this morning. It's cold, man. We got like 10 inches of snow in St. Louis. I want to be on my snowboard, not on Trade Talk, I'll be honest. But I'm here. I'm here. I'm ready to roll. I went out. I was actually took my kid out to play in the snow this morning, and I was going down the shore like it was a skateboard. It was pretty fun. This is Trade Talk, powered by Novex Finance. This is your first time here, welcome. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Man, this goes out to X, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Kick, Rumble. We're probably working on TikTok too, but it goes everywhere. So regardless of where you guys are tuning in from, make sure you like, follow, and sub, because this is where we stay ahead of the market. We get ahead of the money, and we just stay on the profits. Guys, for those of you that don't know how Trade Talk goes down, do a check-in question with everybody on the panel. Usually just something to to get our thoughts flowing and an idea of what's going on in the market. Then after that, we'll kick it over to Clutch. He'll let us know what he's seeing. He'll call a range for the next 2 days, call direction for the next 2 days, and we'll try to call a trade for the episode. Let me throw out our for everybody. It's actually kind of a little bit higher level of an intro question, to be real, but I think we got the right panel for it. So what I'm hearing is that the U.S., who's in charge of our money, so is looking to sell dollars, and traditionally when this happens, you would see dollar drop, yen pump, and then short term you see assets drop, but long term they actually generally pump. So I'm curious, what do you guys think about the U.S., the Fed look buy yen potentially? What do you guys see coming from this? Why do you think it's happening? I'm curious of the thoughts from all the geniuses on here today. But before we get in that, guys, let me tell you a little bit about Novex Finance, man. So Novex Finance is the people's exchange. It was built by 4 traders. Me, Clutch, our homie Ghost, who's probably still sleeping right now. We've been trading for a minute, and we traded everywhere in the crypto game. We've had partnerships with most of these major exchanges, and there were a lot of things that we liked about them, and there were some things we didn't. But we've always been on the fundamental theory that not your keys, not your cheese. So we've been always been bigger on decentralized exchanges, and that's why we decided to start Novex. So we took everything we liked from all these centralized exchanges and put it into our own decentralized exchange. That's why we know it's a place for traders. It's got all the bells and whistles you're gonna like. All the rewards are coming that you're gonna want to start cooking and farming. But most importantly is Novex, the platform as a whole, the traders on the platform are profitable, and that's unheard of. I don't know of any other platform where the traders as a whole are profitable. And here's why we keep our traders profitable. The first reason why we want them to be profitable is most exchanges just focus on getting new traders, right? To keep the overhead flowing, keep the money flowing in. They don't care whether you win or lose. Well, our focus is taking the traders that use our exchange and teaching them to trade properly and giving them the handholding they need to trade properly. So that's why you want to like and sub, regardless where you're tuning in from for Trade Talk, because every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we do these and we keep everybody ahead of the market. And on top of that, we also stream some poker, some chess, some video games, all that fun stuff too. But the real alpha, the alpha of why the traders on Novex are profitable is a Novex Telegram. So regardless of where you're tuning in from, make sure you get in that Novex Telegram, say what's up to us, and we'll give you the handholding you need, because in that Telegram, I drop some alpha, Clutch drops some trades, and then Ghost, he drops every single trade he makes in there. He will tell you every time he's entering. He'll tell you every time he gets stopped out. He'll tell you every time he trims profit. And you got to give him kudos for trading that transparently. But that is how we keep our traders on the platform profitable. So guys, like, follow, sub, and then most importantly, get in the Telegram so we can get you in the action on Novex. Let's run it up today, guys. I'm hyped to run it up. So man, this checking question, it was really interesting to me, and I haven't seen anybody else talking about it, but there's a lot of stuff signaling that the Fed, the U.S. Fed, is looking to sell U.S. dollars and buy yen. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with this, and I had to do a little bit of research myself to build my familiarity, but when this happens, typically what happens is the Fed will print a bunch of US dollars, sell those dollars, in essence drops the value of US dollars. I'd imagine if the owner of your favorite coin was able to just like print more memes and sell them into the market, well, that's going to bring down the reason they do this, though, apparently, right? I'm not a Fed expert, but the reason they do this is they want to provide more dollar liquid world. And then I think their plan is when the yen goes up, which for whatever reason they think it's going to go up in value, they sell those yen and then buy dollars back and stabilize the price. But I don't know. But traditionally, what happens with this, when the Fed starts buying other currencies, the US dollar goes down, those currencies go up, And then in the short term, assets like gold, Bitcoin, silver, Bitcoin, right? They typically go down. But long term, when the people that are holding large amount of yens, they generally sell that yen for profit, right? And they just don't leave it in fiat because most people are smart. I'm not gonna say most people that trade markets are smart in some capacity, but they then flow in to harder assets like Bitcoin, gold, and silver. So what do you guys think about this, man? I don't know. What are your thoughts, man? This is kind of newer to me. This is the first time in over a century that the Fed has signaled that they're looking to buy other currencies. So I'm truly curious what you guys think. Let's check in though. Let's keep it rolling. We're gonna start with an American this morning. Got to start with an American, and we're talking about the Fed. So I'm gonna throw it over to Massimo. Massimo, how you doing this morning, bro? And what do you think about the Fed looking to buy some yen?
Good morning. Good morning. So, it's funny. I feel like I have found myself sometimes in like just some, wormholes of information or things that interest me. And I recently found myself doing a lot of reading on Japan. I think in order to understand this, you got to understand a little bit more about Japanese economy and kind of how, they've been operating. So when they got their new prime minister years back, he essentially kind of changed, many different things with their financial system. But one of the biggest reasons why, because we've been seeing a widening interest rate gap, right, between the yen and other international currencies. But it's specifically because the Bank of Japan has kept their rates incredibly low compared to the rest of the country over the time. It also has a pretty decent amount of intradaily volatility, which, with any of us, like if you got a 5%, if it's going from $153 to $158 exchange rate, like, just the same way we do in the DGen world, catch that at the bottom. That's easy. But I think, ultimately one of the biggest reasons is because of the fact that that exchange rate has been fluctuating a little more volatile. Plus I think the Federal Reserve, hold on one second. So I think the Federal Reserve, is doing everything right now as far as, looking at trading partners, rate checks, and obviously, there has been quite a bit of intervention specifically on the, Republican side, to, I guess, kind of look at, or say intervening, within the U.S. dollars and taking advantage of, some of these currencies that either have been holding up a little bit stronger or are structured a little bit differently during this point. And, with the yen, if you look at how they've been doing, how they've been holding up, and obviously, specifically what their economy has been doing more recently with crypto and all those other things, I think it makes perfect freaking sense, because if there was a country's a native dollar that was going to explode, with the way that Japan, the prime minister, has prioritized what's called exchange rates, prioritized the interest rates, keeping those low. Like, it doesn't take a genius to see that that type of structure would respond very well to a global economy, that starts to level out. So I think it's genius. And I think, again, at the end of the day, in order to understand exactly why you do it, you got to understand what's going on in Japan's economy. And this new prime minister has, been prioritizing the right things again, and refusing to jack up interest rates for his people. So it's a great question, man. And again, I think, this is us just being smart with our money.
Those are some great insights. I truly didn't know much of anything about the Japanese economy, and I didn't know how volatile that market really was. And it makes sense, actually. I used to play poker with the guy that would he'd come in at like 4 a.m. or whatever the time was. I just know it was crazy late when I was about to wrap the night up. But this guy would stay up all night trading the Japanese and Chinese stock markets, and I never really traded back then, so it didn't make sense to me. But now it makes sense that that was probably like the meme coin market of the day, or not necessarily the meme coin, right? But just like the volatility is attractive to people that know what they're doing. So that is interesting that there's volatility, and then there's probably large amounts of liquidity too if the Fed.
We're not the only country and the only people that are watching Japan's economy, right? So, if anything, like, we're just ahead of the curve.
I like it. Good to hear from you, Massimo. Man, I those are some killer insights. I truly didn't know all that stuff. So appreciate you joining the panel this morning.
Yeah, thanks for coming in first, bro.
For sure. Well, let's see what we got. It's Kua here. Oh no, we lost Kua. Oh, we got to go across the pond. I don't know what's going on in the UK. What's the weather like in the UK, Alex? Because we are getting hammered by snow everywhere in the United States right now. And then what are your thoughts on the United States Fed looking to buy some yen, some Chinese memes? Are you hearing anything similar out of the UK? Alex can't even unmute. Anybody else here, Alex, or just me? All right, UK is down bad. All right. Well,
there we go.
Oh, there we go. We got him. Yeah. You guys getting hammered by snow over there, Alex?
No, it's good, man. It's about, I don't know, about 40, 50, 40, 50, I guess. It's not so bad. No
That's
snow.
not bad.
We had the snow the other day. Just a touch, just the tip,
Just the tip, baby.
But just the tip, baby, in buying. But yeah, it's interesting whether people are actually going to buy the dollar. Is another question. But I'm guessing it's on line with what the Fed's plan is to slowly lower interest rates over the year, and buy up some yen. You kind of need the strong Japanese economy for the rest of the world because they produce so much tech and stuff, man. Good tech in Japan. But it's not really my skill set. I will have to check in with the guys because I know it's like 40% of the world's FX trades comes through London, man.
40% of the world's forex trade, you said?
Yeah, that's correct, sir.
Dang, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. That has to be one of the oldest markets in the world. The markets out of London.
That's true.
Yeah, biggest and the best, man. Come to London, Habibi.
The British Empire never went away, bro. These was just controlled the banks.
Yeah, we just gave you back America because it was more economically viable for us. We made more money giving you America.
You're better giving them America and just taxing them for life than you being the one to set up the country. No, it's the Ponzi of Ponzi's. I like it.
One thing I'd be interested in researching, if somebody knows, if you're on the panel, let us know, or if you're listening and hit the comments. But how long have they been leverage trading in London? Or, just because like I've seen stuff about leverage trading in the US in like the 1800s and stuff. So I feel like, man, London had to be way ahead of the curve of the degeneracy there.
They've been trading with leverage for hundreds of years, bro. Actually, thousands. So they would do.
I would have thought the Dutch even started it with the tulips, man.
That's true. That's potential. Yeah.
So that was like, what, 1600?
It's crazy, bro. They used to leverage like pieces of metals, bro, for food. And if you didn't pay it in time, you owed more. So like you were leveraging your debt. It started with that. And then came the fun stuff. But it was kind of like the legal way of doing interest, because usury, it's a sin in the Bible. And most countries, right, that were being established, especially heading towards Western civilization, Europe, all those things that got set up, they were trying to play loopholes. They didn't want to tick off their God, but they wanted to still gain interest. So they started leveraging in a way that it's your choice. It's a form of interest, but it's a self-made, decision, right? So, but yeah, I do know that's been happening for thousands of years already. So, to what extent, we've had leverage, or like what exactly, like maybe like on the markets and stuff. But overall, leverage has been there for a while.
That's interesting to think about. I guess I never really knew about the, go way back in the day, people leveraging their assets, settles or whatever for food, and it's like, hey, you better pay it back, and then some. But it makes sense, right? We always find loopholes of stuff in the. I don't want to make this too religious, but like, man, so many religions try to find loopholes of God's way, and so like, yeah, it makes perfect sense that we did it with money too. I see you got this Bitcoin CME up. It looks like we filled the gap exactly yesterday. I remember watching that shit long up to there, but I just got distracted and didn't do it. It looks like I missed a short too last night. But what's good, man? What do we see on the charts? What's the move of the day, baby?
Yeah, for sure, dude. Let me just give me a bit. I wasn't fully prepared, but I'm ready. Of course, the biggest things in the market you want to start looking at, obviously is the CME. But before we start at the CME, I want to start with the stats that matter. And we already know that's kind of coin market cap. So let's go here. They give you a lot of the basic stuff, but here's what I'm looking at. Under 3 trillion market cap again. Fear and greed. We got a little more greedy. Friday we were at 28. Here we are at 29. Under 3 trillion. We were at 3.02 trillion. It felt fishy. We ended up dumping. Why? Well, altcoin season's just kind of generic and a lot of fear coming into the market. So typically, when the fear and greed index is kind of hovering at a specific location, it's when you start having these kind of choppy zones. And we're going to get into that right now because we've been sort of in this generic 30 to 35 on the fear and greed. And now we've dipped a little below, but that's kind of been the rolling average. So typically in situations like this, I want to find some form of confluence. And here's what I got so far. So if we go to trading view and we go to the CME, you guys know the drill. So here, let me go to full screen so the screen looks better. So when we're looking at the daily, right, on the CME, here's what I caught immediately. If you were trading last night, you could have gotten a very, very easy long. For starters, look at this candle here on Friday. We closed at 89,500. Exact. This candle here yesterday or Monday in the trading markets, it opened at 86 560. So close 88. Let me see. Let me make sure. No, close 89 5, and then it opened at 86.5, right? So a $3,000 gap. That's a big deal. Big gaps like $3,000. They don't really happen a lot, but you got to see that 3K gap there. And what did we get since then? We can zoom in kind of like on the oh my goodness, my trading view has been acting absolutely horrendous. I got to reset it. It's resetting. Give me a second, guys. But what's crazy about the CME and the gaps is just how efficient it truly always is with them going after and closing those gaps. So, for me, there's still a little bit of a gap there, which you really, you notice this gap, we find support and we head right towards that gap. So what's interesting here, I didn't save the gap, but anyways, on this wick up on the high, we went to 88 900 essentially, right? So actually, I mean, we can call that 89K. So there's still a little, like about a $500 range from the open to the gap that we covered, but that is a very respectable amount of how much of the gap was covered, because right now they cover 2,500 of the $3,000. Could there be a nice little run up here to head towards this fifth, fully close this gap? It's very possible. The other thing that we want to notice is on the weekly time frame, right? So on the weekly time frame, we finally got that weekly 21 under a 50 cross. If I reset the chart here so you guys can kind of see the view, we have been waiting on this cross for a very long time. And since we had that drop off, we just kept getting closer and closer with one attempt to break it, rejected. And now we finally have that cross. We left the gap to just kind of keep it in this general area. But for now, you're really not looking at any nice, uptrend action here left. It's pretty gross. And then the next thing, if you look at the monthly candles for the CME, this candle we're on here is insanely nasty. This is Andrew, what would you call this candle here that we're on the monthly? Look at this. The one we're currently on for the CME. What do you think? Sorry, I just had a drink of
That's
coffee.
a
I asked
nasty
Andrew
wick.
in case it was saving. It's a nasty wick. It's a nasty just correction, and everything that they're doing does not make me feel comfortable. So CME kind of going through the motions, and you see this gap left. It's pretty evident on the 4-hour, right? So I do expect a potential higher low here, closure of that gap before more continuation. That's extremely possible. Now let's go to futures on the weekly. Now CME futures, and then you got index by Binance futures. So on the weekly here, you notice we got that weekly 21 under a 50 happened. We got a big old dump this last week. This last weekly candle was devastating, right? It's not something that we really want to see. And now look how nasty this wick to the 21, and now we're right at the 20 to the 8, I'm sorry, and a rejection there brought us right back to the 21, and now we're holding on by a thread. $300 or so, is what we have left here to lose that 21. And if we start curling this ADMA downward on the monthly, it's really telling you what's happening, which is 70K Bitcoin. I mean, I've been warning you and where we're heading. There's a lot of 200 EMAs in this level, but look at the 50 EMA for the monthly. We have not touched the 50 for a very long time since we broke out in October. Since then, we've gone to the 21 twice, thrice, 4, 5, 6 times, and we're getting ready to lose it without a single run to the 50 since we broke out. The 50 test is coming, it feels. Hopefully, by the time we catch the 50, we're going to catch it up here, right? So maybe in the next coming months, we get that big old drop off, and now we know where kind of like our targets are, where we want to bounce off of this 50 and really start looking for longs. But for now, I'm still under the same boat of really trying to set up, shorts, on big pumps. And it's just been very, very profitable, right? All these wicks, just being able to catch it, you're absolutely eating. Now, here's what's interesting, guys, okay? So let's exit full screen. Notice that on the weekly for futures and the CME, the weekly 21 has happened. Now, here's where it gets interesting. I want to go share the perps contract for for Bitcoin, and we're gonna go to Novex Finance for that one. We're on Ethereum. Let's go to Bitcoin, and we're on the weekly. Weekly 21 under the 50 just crossed. right? So it's all looking the same, but then you get to Ethereum. The weekly, the 21 under the 50 has not happened yet. They are front running this whole time. We've been we've been catching it and talking about it, how Ethereum keeps trying to front run and try to hold on to levels that it thinks the market's going to hold on to. But we're seeing that cross happening, right, for them as well. When you go to Solana for the perps, look how different the weekly looks. We've already gotten all the crossing. It's already nasty. It's just holding on. On the monthly is where you start seeing Solana. Ouch. The 8 crossed under the 21. And since then, look at that. It happened on this candle, the next candle this month, every pump, ejectocito. Cuz why? Because you start seeing these EMA crossings. If you go to the 12-hour, just remember the 12-hour chart for me. For some reason, my net just cannot, look at this on the 12 hours. This is just cray. But anyways, once it updates here, just give it a sec. But I was looking at the 12-hour charts because you guys know those are the ones we've been kind of looking at. And look at Solana. It rejected the 200 on the 12-hour perfectly. Since then, it's been a steady dose of screw you candles, right? And now we're finally back at the 8, but we rejected it and we're below it. That's an interesting spot. Keep that in mind here. When we go to Bitcoin's 12-hour, if I can get it to load sometime today, would be freaking great. But I'm going to start using my other PC when I do this chart because I'm on direct connect on that PC. On this one's just my MacBook, so it loads a little slower. But anyways, on the 12-hour for Bitcoin, notice how it's rejecting the 8 and it went above it. Meaning Solana, everything else keeps trying to front run heading there because they see Bitcoin, and then it goes lower. So what you really want to start paying attention is who's really in charge of this market. So, for me, there's a lot of things there that are pretty obvious, but this is why I try telling y'all. But what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to Pumpy Dumpy. Hold on. It's telling me to upgrade my plan. That's probably why it's been lagging, getting me to buy. So, anyways, if you look at the Pumpy Dumpy chart, it's not loading up for me on the EMAs. But if you look at this weekly trend that we're on, and it's actually official, let me rearrange it because it didn't save last time I did it. But look at this structure that it's formulating and that it's on right now. This does not look like it's over. This looks like a big old pop followed by a consolidation, followed by what? What's coming up next? Nothing here is telling me we're going to break down to the downside. So this is a very saucy spot in the market. I don't like it. I haven't been liking it. And part of that reason has been that, right? We're just in a spot where there's more bullish momentum on its way for this chart than bearish momentum, but we are getting to the point where we're extremely close. Now, when we go to Solana on the weekly, notice how different it looks for, perps versus futures, right? So the weekly for futures on Solana, it's still right around its 200 EMA. The Solana chart will look different on perps versus this just because there's a lot more money floating through this, but the reality starts sinking in that we're holding on at a 200 EMA while all these overextensions are starting to get closer and closer. And at some point, one next level down confirms that the 8, 12, 21, and 50 EMAs are heading towards the 200 on Solana. And again, that's just kind of the front running, right? If we go to Ethereum on its weekly, look at the same thing, right? That cross hasn't happened and it's hasn't even gone to its 200. So Ethereum and certain other charts are still telling us it's not over. Typically, when charts are trying to tell us it's not over, it's pretty bad. Doesn't necessarily mean anything decent, in these pockets. So, for me, I mean, you do look for little pockets of consolidation and stuff here, but realistically, there's really no sign there that's telling us we're going to go and start heading towards the upside. When I go to the 2 hour, 1 hour, 4 hour, everything for Bitcoin, it is starting to formulate a little bit of higher lows. So I feel that little mini pump is coming. And to kind of find some action, you start seeing that the 30-minute went to the 200. It gave us all this cross action, but now there's nothing bringing it lower. All the EMAs are above us. So worst case, we have to go above this area before we set up another short. And you can just keep going down. 15 minutes rejection above the 200, but same thing, right? 5 minute, this is where you start seeing the rejection was different. We went above the 200, got the triple cross, and then since then, just a nasty rejection with crossing everything already happening. But now we can gain that bullish momentum on the shorter time frame EMAs to give us that little pop to retest this little breakout. So just tracking Bitcoin and tracking everything, you start kind of just realizing, what's upcoming. And when it comes to the daily, 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple bottom. Is that going to hold on for Bitcoin, or is that a sign of things to come? Is that a sign that we have super support at 80K, or that they're just letting every pop happen because that's the only way to really make money is just use your buyers as exit liquidity, let them pump it, dump it on them, let them pump it, dump it on them, constant little mini pumps before they just completely eat the move. So moves like this happen a lot because market makers know that they have to do something in order to activate buyers and sellers. It can't be too bullish. Most people won't just, at that point, like if it's too bullish, right, you'll start getting more shorts. You'll start getting a lot more of that. And if there's too many of them, you can't control it. So the market makers try to keep that threshold as close to 55, 45, 60, 40 as possible. So then no move gets away on them and they can't go back to the zone that they want. For us that were in leverage, this looks like a lot of swings. People that are in spot have been swinging on a 10 to 15% swing here. So if you look at the box that we're on right here, and we measure it, right? 20% consolidation box. No volatility, really. We call it volatility because what? We're degenerates and we're always trading with leverage and all that fun stuff, right? So we get that. But the reality is this is just a choppiness. And I gave the benefit of the box to the absolute top to the absolute bottom. But what we're really doing is trading in this zone right here. And that's only about a 10, 15%, choppiness there. So for me, that's a big, big sign. It's a big tell of things to come. And, so for me, it's more consolidation seems to be the play as there's no reason for them to go above or below this level. There's tons of action, tons of buyers, and tons of sellers. That equals profits for the market makers. So for the next couple of days, if I were you, I would just be careful because that weekly to 21 crossing across many charts is a tell. Nothing's happened yet. After that cross, it's a lagging indicator. So maybe that cross had already happened. All the traders activated and sold, and now the cross is done. Now we can commence up only? Question mark? Who knows? But what I do know is this is a healthy higher low, and we're starting to really consolidate in areas that you typically only see, in healthy markets. But us consolidating here is a really good deal that we're not losing, this bottom pocket. So if we do, you better believe 60 to 70K Bitcoin is at play. And I personally, I'm a betting man. If I were to bet what's going to come first, a breakout to the top or a breakout to the bottom, I'm going to argue that the breakout to the bottom is coming before the breakout to the top. But again, I don't know exactly when is it going to happen. But what I do know after big crosses, especially when they've gone the other way, like they have this week after cross, because the candle just closed yesterday, they've gone up only since the cross. That's them grabbing liquidity before they go other way. So I can see a week or two of consolidation towards the upside before we inevitably lose that little pocket and start heading towards the support that's really real. And that's 70K Bitcoin. 80K is really good support. But is it real support? It's not. You know why? Because we keep going there. Market makers want to go to those pockets when they know it's not going to break. They can grab more positions, they can grab more area of interest and just continue to scale out in the pops, right? So there's a lot of signs that they're trying to show us bullishness, like this bottom being higher than this one. But my goodness, man, that one only lasted a month. We've been here for 2 months. This is freaking nasty on a lot of levels. Matter of fact, looking at the no, we've been here 2 months now officially, actually. So over 2 months since we've been in this area of interest. And I tell you what, this area of interest has proven that a little bit of buyers will come in, but not enough buyers to push us to 100K. So that's a very serious problem that we're having. But at any moment, we can get that one white swan. We're in the territory where the only thing that can take us to these top levels now is going to be something so bullish for crypto that it's just inevitable. No one can stop the freaking train. But with the rotations going into gold, silver, all these things, and an incoming market, housing market with America that's just kind of on stilts, you know, very potentially dangerous situation for the markets. And then the US government wanting to cheat their frickin' dollar to buy another currency? Dude, what are they selling their dollar for? For more assets? For Bitcoin? This is really a proxy war, financial war if I've ever seen one. And this is going to get interesting to see who's really legit about these buys, right? And who's really just grabbing that liquidity to fake people out. But with all this political temperature, I'm not sold that one last leg down isn't at least coming. Why would we get this close and not touch the 200 EMA when we haven't touched the 200 EMA on the weekly for Bitcoin since the bear market? So for me, us going to the 200 not doesn't necessarily mean it's a bear market, because the 200 was at 20K, now it's at 65K, so it is 250 300% higher by the time that we're touching it. But the real scary part is that if we do touch it and we lose it, we have a long way to go for a potential bottom. And that's the part that's scary. This is why I don't want to buy now and be caught DCA in at 60, 50, 40, and then wondering if I should jump off a bridge at 30K. I'm not going to be your freaking exit liquidity market makers. But what I will say is I don't mind buying 110 Bitcoin knowing it's going to 200 than trying to buy now when the R&R is more in favor to the downside than to the upside. So until then, I'm scalping. I see green, I take green. On the shorts, that's where you freaking eat, baby. Anybody else got a take here? I'm drinking some coffee and just kind of. No? Okay. Well, guys, the market sentiment is really unfavorable. If you're just expecting forever up, you don't know if that's going to be the case, but just trade carefully. Go to novex.finance. You'll have amazing features there. But one of the biggest things is instant settling of your positions when you trade, when you open, when you close. There's no lag. The liquidity is there. It's thick. and you're not sharing that liquidity with everyone in the world, only people through the perps contract. So it's very solidified, backed by people like Radium. This is a massive operation that's ongoing on the back there with with Novex and the white label company. But just understand this. The best part about being with us on Novex.finance, you always have hand holding available. You always got people like me. You got Ghost, you got Andrew, you got a bunch of traders just being in the TG, waiting to help. So scan this QR code, guys, that's here on screen. That will take you directly to Novex.finance. If you're on desktop, you can connect your extension, trade away, any EVM, Solana, you name it, just trade with us. If you're on a phone, you want to make sure that you open up the website inside an app browser. Which app? Your wallet app. Solflare, Phantom, right? You can go on Xverse. You can go on MetaMask. You can connect to all kinds of different wallets. So you can deposit some funds and start trading away. You don't need a referral code. You just need to get in there. However, if you have traders and different people that you would like to bring over, you can become an affiliate, get your own ref code, and help us push the mission. We do have a massive update and announcement that I will be making this week. I will be releasing an article. You guys have all seen the craze with the articles on X and all that fun stuff. I'm doing it not for the monetization or to try to win the $1 million for the best article. I'm doing it so you guys can see everything that we have built, what has been going on, and where are we heading, with a couple of new feature announcements incoming, with one amazing plan in particular that's going to help our traders with daily quest and availability to earn points and farm as if you were still part of SocialFi. That SocialFi game got crushed with the algo change because there's a lot of vaporware out there. Well, what I got cooking, it's going to assure that it's not spam, it's not all botted, it's all for our traders that are actively trading. And as long as they're actively trading, then we're going to keep rewarding them and keeping them happy so they never go trade anywhere else again. So thank you for stopping by Trade Talk. Much love. You could have been anywhere else, but you chose to vibe here with us. And that's freaking awesome. So much love, everybody. I'm going to play a little song here, as always, a little exit from our Novex playlist. Have yourself a great rest of your day, and I hope your next trade is a big-time profitable one. But it's all really possible when you're trading on Novex, and it's as easy as reaching into your pocket, whipping out the phone, and making a great choice on a long or a short. And if you need help, you need hand-holding, reach out. We're around, baby.
I've been going on the chrome, I'm locked in. Whole squad talking about the charts, we tapped in. Novex in my pocket, that's the high line. Turn a long week into a good sign. Used to clock in, clock out, same story. Scrolling on my phone, dreaming about a lane for me. Then I seen the candles, colors on the same screen. Game playing clean, feeling like a daydream. One tap, now I'm reading all the facts, that's grown talk. Money on a mission, I don't chase, I let it walk. Learn the levels, learn the risks, never rushing. Patience in the stash, now my future stay flushing. From the couch to the cloud, I was second guessing. Now I'm chart checking, every session is a lesson. Little win stack, that's compounding grace. Now I bring calm to a fast marketplace. Novex in my pocket, yeah, I move with ease. Smooth with the numbers like a west coast breeze. From the lows to the highs, I just ride that wave. Turn a plan to a profit, watch the mindset raise. Novex in my pocket, put the fear on mute. Lay back, hustle with a long view route. If you feel that shift when the doubt gets loud. Let the screen light up, we gon' break that cloud. Sunrise check, I ain't stressing at the open. Got a watch list built, every symbol got a motor. Wrist set tight, I ain't tryna chase hype. Discipline, drip, drip, that's a different type of life. I remember over trading, hands sweating on the pad. Now I breathe first, let the noise run past. Journal on the desk, every move, every reason. Turn loss into wisdom, that's a champion season. Group chat buzzing, everybody on the same road. Share a little game, pay it forward as it grows. See my cousin just start, eyes wide, heart heavy. Told him small size, big plan, keep steady. We don't gamble, we don't prey on the spike. We just study, set a limit, live life we like. Still barbecue, still laugh, still chill. But the future in the background, slowly getting filled. Novex in my pocket, yeah, I move with ease. Smooth with the numbers like a West Coast breeze. From the lows to the highs, I just ride that wave. Turn a plan to a profit, watch the mindset raise. Novex in my pocket, put the fear on mute. Lay back, hustle with a long view route. If you feel that shift when the doubt gets loud, let the screen light up, we gon' break that cloud. 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 More than green on the screen, it's a mind state. Mind state, mind state. We don't fold when the line shake. We just zoom out, see the whole play. From the first small buy to the first withdrawal, that's proof you can build from a little bit of all. Yeah, that's yours now. On your lane, on your route, staying tall. Yeah. OG turf, where they told us take what you can. Now it's playing what you keep, let it work in your hand. Neighborhood kids see me scroll, asking what I'm watching. Just some candles and some patience, little bro, that's options. I ain't selling dreams, I'm just showing them the process. Tiny daily steps, same time, that's progress. It ain't overnight, but it's over time. And over doubt, over fear, over every old line. Now my mom more calm, bills paid on the first. I'm a toast to the charts that reverse that curse. Still the same me, white tee, same sneakers. But the balance say I leveled up the speaker. Look, if you lost, we can learn it together. Check the trend, check the news, check the look.